Hi, I am Saransh. I am in Alleppey right now, and this video is going to be a crash course for you in visiting Alleppey. Grab a pen and paper because I'll try and not waste a single second. I'm going to tell you about 18 things to do in Alleppey, price comparisons, food you should eat, bike rentals, budget properties, tentative budget for the trip, and some important FAQs. Alleppey, also known as Alappuzha, is a coastal town and an entire district in Kerala. And as such, I'm going to list a total of 18 places to visit and divide them in two categories. First category, 8 most popular places to visit or activities to do that are on everyone's itinerary. Second category, 12 places that are just as good or interesting and you can visit if you have more time. Starting with the 8 most popular things. First, let me tell you all you need to know about the houseboat tours in Alleppey. Overnight tours generally start around 12 p.m. They serve you lunch and dinner and they take a halt where you can visit the local toddy shops as well. And then they park around 5 p.m. for the night. The next morning, they serve you breakfast and after a 1 hour ride, they drop you back on land around 9 a.m. You can do the tour by booking an entire houseboat, or if there are multiple rooms, you have the option for doing this tour on a sharing basis as well. You also have an option of doing a day tour on these houseboats, which again starts around 12 p.m. and drops you back by 5 p.m. and they serve you lunch on board. You can do this in a private or sharing basis, just like full day tours. Food they serve is freshly cooked and actually good. And then some of the houseboats have an upper deck as well with better views. Now, depending on if the houseboat falls under the category of deluxe, premium or luxury and what season are you going in, the price varies, but generally speaking, the starting prices are as follows. And you can call up the following service providers to book in advance. If you want to book once you are in Alleppey, then you can do that as well. There are a lot of service providers when it comes to houseboats. Now, if you want a more intimate experience, then you can go for shikara boat tours that go through all of these small canals as well. They are a budget-friendly alternative to the houseboats. Starting price for the shikaras is rupees 600 per hour, but the only catch is that you have to book it for a minimum of 3 hours. So minimum rupees 1800. You have the option of booking it for longer as well. I personally like the experience, especially because of its size. It can access areas much closer to the local life that otherwise won't be possible on a houseboat. Service provider details are on your screen. Next, I am at the Alleppey beach, which is hands down the most popular beach in Alleppey. The beach is nice. The remains of an old sea bridge adds to the charm. There are local vendors selling snacks and ice creams, and you can even do a speedboat ride. You can go in the water for a little bit of a splash, but it isn't necessarily safe for swimming and there are no lifeguards on duty. And if you want to avoid the crowds, you can keep going north with the shoreline up until somewhere near the Catamaran Cafe. We found the vibe there was much better. Very close to the beach is Amaze World, also known as Vijay Park Alappuzha. It is an amusement park with water rides, bouncy castles, bumping cars, etc. Not the most well-maintained park, but definitely fun for kids. Next spot is the Alappuzha Lighthouse. Built in 1862, the lighthouse symbolizes the history of Kerala's shipping and trading era. From the top, you get good views of the Arabian Sea and the city, though you will have to climb a decent bit of stairs and a part of it is quite steep, so be mindful of that. Lighthouse also has a small museum displaying various equipments. To the next spot, Marari Beach. It is one of the most popular beaches in Alleppey, and rightly so. It is less crowded in comparison to Alleppey Beach, but you will still find a decent bit of people. The beach chairs are a fun way to watch the sunset, and the beach in general offers a very peaceful vibe. However, the beach isn't the safest for swimming, and there are no water sports either. Next spot is the St. Andrew's Basilica in Arthunkal. It is one of the best churches I've ever been to. Built in 16th century by the Portuguese missionaries, it is the largest shrine of Saint Sebastian in the world. Architecture of the whole structure is beautiful too. The altar, the statues, and depictions in the compound, including that of the Last Supper, everything is nice. And not to mention the sand in front of the church, that also adds to the appeal as well. Now the next up is Kumarakom Bird Sanctuary. It is relatively a popular attraction for people staying for more than a day, and there are a lot of big name hotels around it as well. The park itself is by the lake and gives a nice vibe. You can also walk along the pathway and have a peaceful time. You will have a better chance of spotting birds in the early morning. You may also end up seeing monitor lizards and turtles. Next on the list is Ambalappuzha Sri Krishna Temple. Dedicated to Lord Krishna, the temple is believed to have been built during 15th century. The temple is well designed and its payasam made out of rice has become quite popular amongst the devotees. Next, let me tell you about 12 additional things that are just as good and some some even more interesting that you can do in Alleppey. Starting with my personal favorite, kayaking. Being so close to the village life, going through the narrow canals, under the bridges, and have the natural beauty all around, it has an appeal that is second to none. I will recommend that you do it during sunrise to avoid the houseboat traffic. You can do it with the following vendors in Alleppey city, and it should cost you about rupees 650 per person. All of these vendors offer canoe ride as well. We went for kayaking with Opulence Backwater Adventures, and it was definitely worth it. But for that, you will have to go from Alleppey to Kalaracode via a 30-minute ferry ride. If you're interested, feel free to contact Edison from the contact details on the screen. Next up is the Coir Museum. It really showcases Alleppey's heritage of being the coir capital of India. The museum showcases the journey of coir from its initial uses as a daily utility product to the diversified uses that it has today. There are also impressive works of art using coir. You can also see the live processing of coir to make products. There is also a souvenir shop where you can buy showpieces, handicrafts, etc. Again, made using coir. Now I am at the next spot, the Vembanad Lake, which is the largest lake in Kerala and the longest lake in India. It is about 84 kilometers long. Okay, so you are going to find yourself in the Vembanad Lake anyway. If you're going for a houseboat or shikara ride, you can rent a canoe as well. By the way, you can also go for speedboat rides in the lake, and it is too much fun. They will charge you about rupees 800 to 1000 for that. Next up, I am at the Pathraminal Island Bird Sanctuary, which is an island in the middle of the Vembanad Lake and only accessible via a boat. It is a peaceful place for walks and spotting birds. We went there early morning and had a nice time. The vegetation is dense and you can walk alongside the paths to visit the island from end to end. The sanctuary also has a play area and you can get coconut water at the entry. As for reaching the island, you can either take a canoe or a speedboat from Kayyapuram Boat Jetty. Both of them would roughly cost you about rupees 600 for a ride to and fro. You will find the jetty location in the description. Alternatively, you can board the ferry from Alleppey terminal that takes you for a day trip to the Pathraminal Island, and that will cost you about rupees 600 again. Next is St. Mary's Foreign Church in Pullikunnu. The architecture itself is beautiful, and the captivating beauty of the serene backwaters and the swaying coconut palms that adorn the banks adds to the charm of the place. The church, dedicated to the Holy Mother, was built in 1557. Next up, if you have time, want to visit a beach, avoid the crowds, then you should avoid going to Alleppey Beach or Marari Beach. Instead, you can go to the other beaches, either side of them on the shoreline. Some of these other beaches that you can visit are Punapura Beach, Thampoli Beach, Arthunkal Beach, or the Andhkarni Beach. Next spot is Manasarila Sri Nagaraj Temple. If you are someone who likes visiting temples, then you will have a nice time at this temple. Dedicated to the serpent god, the temple is surrounded by lush greenery. Many walls are adorned with snake imagery and there are lots of snake statues as well. The overall vibe is definitely a bit mystic. You can also go for spa and Ayurvedic massages. Traditional treatments like Abhyangam and Shirodhara are the most popular. Details for some of the more reputed centers are on the screen. And now if you're interested in shopping, local handicrafts, coir products, Kathakali masks, wooden artifacts, or just souvenirs, then the following two shops are a really good option. Last on the list is the toddy shops. If you're not interested in alcohol, then you can skip this. However, toddy is a big part of the local culture and the seafood is delicious as well at these toddy shops. I've mentioned some of the good ones on the screen. They take you to a local toddy shop during the houseboat tour as well. So if you're doing that, you can skip going there separately. And with that, we come to the end of this section. And now I will be telling you about the top places when it comes to having some really good food in Alleppey. For breakfast, you can go for Cafe Paradiso, Breakfast Village, or Borma Cafe. You will love all three for their aesthetics and good food, but I personally think Borma Cafe is in another league. If you want to have your meals by the beach, then you can go for Cafe Catamaran, Seashore Restaurant, Ocean Shack, or the Ecstasy Shack. If you're craving good Kerala meals and seafood, you can go for Thaf Delicacy, Hotel Brothers, or Hotel Jas. Jas is a local favorite. A bit more on the fine dining side, you can go for Kasia Restaurant. If you want to have good Arabian cuisine, then you can go for Halayas Restaurant and Alhan Mandi. If you want pure vegetarian options, then you can go for Rice Boat Restaurant, Avi's Putta House, or Namaste Defense. And Namaste Defense is like a proper local place to eat at. Some other good places are Asado Cafe and Beirut Bistro. In terms of local cuisine, you should definitely try the Karimin Polichattu, which is a fish marinated with spices and grilled in banana leaves. Then Appam and stew, and lastly the local favorite Putta and Kadla curry. Next, let's talk about the best places to stay in Alleppey. If you're going to Alleppey for one night and are going to stay in a houseboat, then you can skip this section. Otherwise, I'm going to give you options in the budget range, comfortable range, and the high-end range. Starting with the budget range, there are 6 options. Sadhana on the Beach, Dutch Square Hostel, Course of Life Alleppey, Zostel Alleppey, Alleppey, Ghost Stops Alleppey, and Beach Clan dorms. Beach Clan may just be the lowest priced property in Alleppey, and as such, the dorm room is small, but the location is right at the beach, and the owner is super friendly and the most resourceful person you're ever going to meet. Now, here are the 6 options in the comfortable range: the Mayflower Heritage Villa, Shoreline Marari Beach Villa at Golden Beach, Bella Homestay Kerala, Bamboo Lagoon Backwater Front Resort, the River Belts, Bateen Beach Stay. Next up, let me give you 6 high-end options: Marari Beach Resort Alleppey, a CGH Earth Experience, Amaya Kerala, Classic Regency, Uday Backwater Resort, Blue Sal's Villa Muhamma, Sterling Lake Palace Alleppey. And lastly, 6 cool AirBnBs: The Shore Stories, The Rain Alleppey, Villa Nena by Granary Stays, Pluto B&B, Thira Suite, and the last, Tranquil Waters. And next up, let's sort out your worries for how to locally commute in Alleppey. Okay, so what transport you should take would depend a lot on how many days you are staying in Alleppey. What are the things that you're going to do? So let's make it simple. Let's say you're there for one day and are going to do just the houseboat tour. Then you can take an auto for the other couple of places that you need to visit otherwise. However, if you're coming for longer, then each spot individually covering by an auto rickshaw may be expensive. Though you can take an auto for an entire day, and for that you can reach out to these 2 auto rickshaw drivers on the screen. An alternative could be that you take a ferry to the closest possible point and then take an auto, but ferries take a lot of time even for short distances. And buses do not really run between these local spots. So you're left with either commuting on your personal vehicle, which by the way is not a bad option at all because Alleppey is beautiful. Otherwise, you can rent a scooter which will cost you about rupees 500 per day. Service providers are on the screen. A car rental will cost you about rupees 1500 per day. For a Swift Desire, service providers are on the screen. And if you want to rent a taxi, you can do so with the following providers. Now the next section you've all been waiting for, the budget for a trip to Alleppey. I'm calculating the budget for one person traveling solo on a comfortable budget for 2 nights and 3 days. Stay in a hostel about rupees 700 per night, food about rupees 1000 per day, bike rent rupees 500 per day. Depending on the activities you choose to do and how many times you do it, the cost can vary a lot, taking an average of about rupees 5000 for the entire trip, clubbing entry tickets and miscellaneous expenses at rupees 600, which would bring the budget for a 3-day trip to Alleppey close to about 11,500. If you travel in a group, the expenses can be shared and the overall budget brought down. Now coming on to the last section of this video, some frequently asked questions. What is the best time to visit Alleppey? Best time to visit Alleppey is post-monsoons and during winters, that is during October to February. March to June will be too hot, and July to September the beaches and backwaters may be inaccessible or stormy due to rain. How to reach Alleppey? Nearest airport is in Kochi, which is 83 kilometers from Alleppey. Good news is Alleppey has its own railway station. Buses are a good option too, as Alleppey is well connected to most major cities in South India. Getting your own vehicle is another option. You will be in for a treat driving by the coastal belt of Kerala. What is the ideal trip plan and safety in Alleppey? Most people generally visit Alleppey for one day and just do the houseboat tour, but I recommend that you do it for 2 nights and 3 days and truly explore Alleppey. Okay, so the most common perception is that it is a place for families, and I thought so too. And yes, families will enjoy their time given the houseboats, in general good accessibility and the availability of all types of cuisines. But I think this place is a heaven for backpackers and solo travelers too. And you will definitely enjoy a vacation as well. The costs aren't high at all. There are so many activities to do. A lot of cafes have come up as well. Overall, I personally loved Alleppey. It is safe for solo female travelers as well due to good connectivity, tourism infrastructure in place, like-minded community of tourists, and respect for locals. Also, make sure to avoid plastics and travel responsibly. If you found all of this information useful, but now you think that you needed to note it down, then we have made your job easier by creating an offline digital ebook version of this video with some additional sections like illustrated maps, properties with direct booking links, month-wise temperatures, Google Map links for places to visit and cafes, and pre-built day-wise itineraries to choose from. You can buy this from our website, both as a hard copy or in a PDF format. The link is in the description. Also, you can buy our cool everyday minimal design t-shirts from the website. Your purchases help us make more videos like this across India as well as internationally. That's it from this video. Join our Discord server where we will answer all your queries, and you can speak with other people in the community and also find groups traveling to Alleppey. Follow us on Instagram to see live updates and reels from our trips. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to this channel and like our video. It helps a ton in growing this channel. Goodbye.